October 2015, CIA Headquarters, Virginia. Director John Brennan receives a call from an unknown number. On the other end of the line is what appears to be a child. What happens next is something that would send shockwaves through one of the most powerful intelligence agencies in the world. What would seem like a harmless prank to an ordinary person quickly escalates into a full-blown security breach as the CIA realizes that their system has been compromised. This video delves into the astonishing story of how two teenagers, Kiriakou and Default, managed to infiltrate the very heart of American intelligence, leaving the agency scrambling to secure its secrets. On a seemingly ordinary day in October 2015, John Brennan, the director of the CIA, receives a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other end is that of a young boy, and at first it might have seemed like a joke, a prank call from a child. But as the conversation progresses, it becomes clear that this is no ordinary child, and this is no joke. The young caller delivers a chilling demand. The United States must cease its military interventions in the Middle East, particularly in Palestine. The audacity of the demand is shocking, but what truly alarms Brennan and his team is the realization that this childlike voice is coming from someone who has managed to breach their system. Panic sets in at the CIA as they quickly discover that their entire system has been hacked. The implications are terrifying. A group of unknown hackers has penetrated one of the most secure networks in the world. The agency is thrown into chaos as they scramble to identify the source of the breach and prevent any further damage. Kiriakou, the mastermind behind the call, is a 15-year-old boy from Leicester, England. Despite his age, he's no ordinary teenager. Kiriakou had a deep fascination with computers and technology from a young age, which eventually led him down the path of hacking. He wasn't just any hacker. Kiriakou was the leader of a small but formidable hacking group called Crackers with Attitude, a community that challenged authority and reveled in taking on the establishment. Kiriakou formed this group with the goal of pushing boundaries, questioning power, and proving that even the most powerful institutions could be vulnerable. What started as a group of like-minded teens sharing tips and tricks on hacking quickly evolved into something much more dangerous. The group began targeting high-profile individuals and organizations, culminating in the audacious hack of the CIA. On the other side of the Atlantic was Default, a tech-savvy teenager from Virginia, USA. Unlike Kiriakou, Default's journey into hacking began in a much more innocent way, through video games. Obsessed with gaining an edge in his favorite games, Default began modifying the code to create cheats and customizations. But what started as a hobby soon grew into a deeper interest in the world of hacking. Default's curiosity and skill in hacking were significantly influenced by the notorious group Anonymous, which had made headlines in 2008 for their cyber attacks on major corporations and governments. Inspired by their bold actions, Default started to explore the darker side of hacking, moving beyond video games to target more significant, more powerful entities. His partnership with Kiriakou would soon set the stage for one of the most shocking breaches in CIA history. Default's journey into hacking began with relatively minor exploits. His first forays involved creating cheats for video games, but his ambitions quickly grew. One of his earliest significant hacks was accessing the records of a Canadian medical college. What started as curiosity soon became a demonstration of his growing skill set, showing that even secure systems were vulnerable to his techniques. But Default's motivations weren't purely technical, they also had a strong political edge. One of his more audacious early hacks was an attack on Denmark's digital infrastructure in protest against their controversial animal laws. This act of digital activism marked Default's transition from a mere hacker to someone who saw his skills as a means to make a political statement. The evolution of Default and Kiriakou from solo operators to a formidable duo was catalyzed by a shared sense of purpose. Edward Snowden's revelations about the NSA's mass surveillance had a profound impact on both teenagers, awakening a desire to take action against what they saw as governmental overreach. It was this common cause that brought Default and Kiriakou together, despite the physical distance between them. Their shared goal was simple yet audacious: to expose the vulnerabilities of the US government and, in particular, the CIA. The two formed a team with a clear mission: to teach the world's most powerful intelligence agency a lesson it wouldn't soon forget. Kiriakou's infiltration of the CIA began with a simple yet effective tactic: social engineering. He started by manipulating Verizon, John Brennan's telecommunications provider, into giving him access to Brennan's personal information. Posing as a Verizon technician, Kiriakou managed to convince the company to hand over critical details that allowed him to reset Brennan's email passwords. With this information, Kiriakou and Default were able to gain access to Brennan's personal email account, where they found a trove of sensitive documents. Among these were files related to national security, including a 47-page application for top security clearance, which contained extensive personal and professional information. Once inside Brennan's email, Kiriakou and Default meticulously downloaded as many sensitive documents as they could find. These documents, while not the highest level of classified material, were still highly sensitive and contained information that was never meant to be seen by the public. The hackers now held in their hands data that could potentially compromise U.S. intelligence operations and put lives at risk. The real damage began when Kiriakou decided to make these documents public. He leaked the files online, sending shockwaves through both the U.S. government and the global community. The public exposure of these documents led to widespread outrage, with citizens and governments alike questioning how the CIA could have allowed such a breach to occur. The agency, long seen as nearly invincible, was suddenly humiliated on the world stage. As the CIA scrambled to contain the fallout and track down the hackers, the global embarrassment only grew, illustrating just how vulnerable even the most powerful organizations could be. Emboldened by the success of the CIA hack, Kiriakou became increasingly reckless. He continued to release sensitive information, convinced that his skills made him untouchable. Each new leak added to the CIA's embarrassment and further fueled Kiriakou's ego. He taunted law enforcement and intelligence agencies, believing that his knowledge of digital anonymity would protect him from any consequences. However, this overconfidence would soon prove to be his undoing. While Kiriakou reveled in his newfound infamy, Default's path to downfall was much less calculated. During a night of drinking, Default let his guard down and made a crucial mistake: a drunken confession to a friend about his involvement in the CIA hack. Unbeknownst to Default, this friend would later tip off the authorities, providing them with the break they needed to track him down. The once seemingly invincible hacker had inadvertently sealed his own fate. Armed with this new information, the FBI and British police launched coordinated raids to apprehend the hackers. In Virginia, the FBI arrested Justin Gray Lieberman, known as Default, while across the Atlantic in Leicester, British police took Ken Gamble, alias Kiriakou, into custody. The arrests marked the end of their hacking spree and sent a clear message to others in the hacking community. No matter how skilled or elusive they might be, the law would eventually catch up with them. The two teenagers, who had once terrorized the CIA, now faced serious legal consequences for their actions, their stories serving as a cautionary tale for those who dared to challenge the world's most powerful institutions. The legal repercussions for Kiriakou and Default were severe, reflecting the gravity of their crimes. Kiriakou, the mastermind behind the social engineering that led to the CIA breach, was sentenced to 2 years in a juvenile detention facility. Despite his young age, the court made it clear that his actions had significant consequences. Default, whose confession ultimately led to their arrest, received a harsher sentence of 5 years due to the additional hacks he had carried out prior to the CIA breach. These sentences served as a stark reminder that even youthful indiscretions in the digital age can lead to life-altering punishments. Years have passed since their sentencing, and both Kiriakou and Default have since turned their lives around. Leveraging the very skills that once got them into trouble, they have moved into the field of cybersecurity. Now, instead of exploiting vulnerabilities, they work to protect systems from those who would seek to do what they once did. Their transition from teenage hackers to cybersecurity professionals highlights the thin line between illegal hacking and ethical hacking, a line they now choose to stay on the right side of. As we reflect on the story of Kiriakou and Default, a moral question arises. Were their actions driven by a misguided sense of justice? Or did they genuinely serve a greater good by exposing the vulnerabilities of a powerful institution? Their hack revealed weaknesses within the CIA, prompting discussions about the need for stronger cybersecurity measures. But at what cost? Were they reckless youth seeking attention? Or were they digital vigilantes trying to make a point? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you see them as misguided troublemakers or as unlikely heroes? Let us know in the comments below. The story of Kiriakou and Default is one of audacity, skill, and unintended consequences. What started as a prank call to the CIA director spiraled into a global scandal, exposing the vulnerabilities of one of the world's most powerful intelligence agencies. These two teenagers, driven by a mix of curiosity, defiance, and political motives, managed to shake the foundations of the CIA and reveal just how fragile digital security can be in the wrong hands. Their journey from anonymous hackers to convicted criminals serves as a reminder of the power and peril of the digital age. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more intriguing stories that explore the unexpected and the unknown. We've got more tales of audacity, mystery, and the extraordinary coming your way, so make sure you don't miss out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.